Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Education on Film. I'm your host, Jawhara Edwards. This marks the beginning of the first part of the series that we will be getting into today, which is music theory for beginners. Have you ever asked yourself how musicians are able to look at a few dots on a page and be able to play a complete and thoughtful melody? Well, ask yourself no more. I'm here to answer those questions. To give you an overview of what we'll be covering in this part of the series, I'll be going over the musical alphabet, the staff, clefs, rhythm, and timbre. Don't worry, if that sounds foreign to you, I will definitely explain. So, first things first, let's go over the musical alphabet. There are 7 letters to the musical alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But how do musicians know which letters to play when, right? Let's move on. To help a musician determine what letters to play when, they need 2 things: a staff and a clef. This is true for whatever kind of instrument a musician is playing, whether it be high, low, or middle range, or any kind of timbre or sound quality that their instrument has. In order for a musician to determine what line in space is what musical alphabet letter, they need to be able to determine what the clef is indicating. Once they put it on the staff, they'll be able to figure out, with a clef, what lines and spaces are what letters. Wait a minute, what does that mean? So, here I have a staff, and if I were to put a G clef on this staff, then that lets the musician know what lines and spaces are what. In this instance, the lines from the bottom up are E, G, B, D, and F, and the spaces in between are F, A, C, and E. The G clef is called such because when placed on the staff, the line that it's indicating is the G line. This is similar for the F clef, which indicates the F line on the staff, and the C clef, which indicates the C that's on the line. So we know that if certain clefs are placed on this staff, we'll get to know what notes are to be played if placed on the staff itself. But how does a musician know how long to play a note for? This is where rhythm comes in. Let's go over the basics. In order for us to understand rhythm, we must first define it. So, what is rhythm? Well, a loose definition is movement marked by strong and weak pulses. But what does that mean? Well, maybe it'll help if I show you what indicate pulses on a piece of music. This is a whole note. It is called a whole note because it holds for 4 pulses usually in one whole measure, or for the whole measure. This is a half note. It gets half the value of a whole note. It usually takes 2 of these to equal 1 whole note. This is a quarter note. Like the half note is to the whole, it takes 2 of these to equal 1 half note, and 4 of these to get to 1 whole note. This is an eighth note. It takes 2 eighth notes to equal 1 quarter note, just as it takes 2 quarter notes to equal 1 half. Finally, this is a 16th note. It takes 2 16th notes to equal 1 eighth, just as it equals 2 eighths to get to 1 quarter. As you can see, it can get small, and even smaller still. If a musician sees any of these notes on the staff, then they know they need to play a specific note for a certain duration, and that's how you get rhythm. Well, I hope this tutorial helps on how to read music, or at least how to understand how musicians read music. Stay tuned for the next series, Series 2, where we actually put the whole thing together and we learn a little bit more about rhythm and how to read. Take care!
Thing you're going to need is a bassoon.